Hi there. I just wanted to share that I've been super duper um, enjoying reading A Course in Miracles. Um, so I got the book in 2020 and tried reading it then and just totally gave up and thought, wow, this is I didn't understand what I was reading at all. Um, it felt a little repetitive. It didn't flow like anything else you might read. You couldn't really follow, I couldn't follow what it was trying to say uh, at all. I think I quit after I remember reading something like, maybe it was describing what miracles are or something. And I was like, what? you know? And I got it maybe, oh, there was a few people. I heard about the book probably first from Iyanla. And then I know Eckhart Tolle speaks highly of it, and a lot of people who I really respect. So I know that it's an incredible book, but I just couldn't understand it, and I put it away. And then I had my awakening, or began to awaken, in 2021. And then it is now 2025, and a couple months ago, I saw an interview with Buddha Betty. She's known as Buddha Betty. um, and she did a podcast with Mayim Bialik, and it was so fantastic. And I had heard of her NDE before already, where she describes it, but this interview was just so good, and I was really moved. And and then there was like a bunch of synchronicities. It was just kind of wild. Like the night that I watched her, for the next 3 days, it was just like weird synchronicities happening. And then as a side note, sometime later, I had this huge super intense experience of feeling like we are in a dream. Oh, it was surreal. It was absolutely bizarre. It just felt so obvious and clear. I was like, I ran into the room. My husband was cleaning in the morning. It was the weekend, and I was like, Calvin, we're in a dream. Oh my God. And he happened to be playing music on his phone while he was cleaning, and it however many songs in a row, all were about dreams. I mean, it was just okay. Anyways, so let's see. Right. And so she talked about so I found her YouTube channel, and I was watching a video of her, of Buddha Betty, and she was talking about A Course in Miracles. And well, sometime soon after that, I decided to try reading it again, and it just totally blew my mind. It just blew the top off my mind. It was out of this freaking world. And I just love her description of it as she said it's mind training. You're retraining your mind. You're training your mind. And I love that, especially now, having researched a lot about mind control, whether it's in individuals or just kind of mass mind control. So this is a thing, and being programmed and kind of acting out our lives from a lot of it from just our programmed subconscious that we're just not even aware of what's going on in there. And just utterly fantastic. Oh, and by the way, the thing that one of the big things that led to me suddenly having that like giant epiphany, I guess, or that really like intense feeling and perception of this all being a dream. So maybe the night before, I rewatched Inception, the movie. And it was because Buddha Betty had mentioned it in her NDE. And she said that they were showing her, when she was on the other side, scenes from that movie, and also I think from The Matrix, to try to explain to her what this world is. I love how in one of her videos she's like, this place or this world is fake as F, right? It really is. But anyways, so I loved the movie at the time, but like these days, I just don't watch anything ever. Like ever. There's just zero desire, to consume anything from Hollyweird. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. But because she said that, I wanted to watch it again. And this experience watching it now was very, very, it was really fun. It was so good. Oh my God, it was good. Of course, there was weaved into the movie ideas that are kind of the inverse of reality. Like I remember a scene where they were trying to get you to be, well, this is a theme throughout, but trying to get you to be afraid of believing that this is all a dream, as if that's gonna, make you go into psychosis or kill yourself or something. Perhaps the opposite is true. Perhaps never waking up to the dream is what makes us freaking go nuts. But anyways, oh God, and so there was this scene in the movie. I'm trying to remember. No, I don't think Buddha Betty, that I watched Buddha Betty specifically mentioned that scene, but I happened to come across it, maybe in like a YouTube short or something, before I watched the movie. I think. Okay, so this is the scene where the two main characters are chatting in a cafe. The girl and the Leonardo DiCaprio. And they're talking, and then he suddenly leans towards her and says, like, how do you know this isn't a dream? And, oh my God, he said, in a dream, you just kind of appear at a spot, and then you're just there, but you can't really remember how you got there. And he asked her, like, do you remember how you got here? And then she's just like, yeah, sure. And she couldn't answer, right? And then like weird stuff starts happening, and things become shaky and unstable, and then like stuff just starts exploding behind them in a weird slow-mo frozen way. And then she's, realizing that yes, indeed, this is a dream. This is in fact her first training session or whatever, right? And so I was thinking, it just had such a big impact because when we're born, right, we're just here, We're like born and it's like, oh, hey, here we are. I'm here, you're here. But we don't know how we got here. We don't remember our past lives. We don't remember where we were right before we were born, making all these plans to come. We just kind of show up here. And so like, because it's kind of a long dream here, right? It's just kind of like a never-ending long dream. I think that's makes it harder to remember it's a dream. But if you think about when you were born, you know what I mean? And how you just are suddenly existing here as Susan or Bob, you know what I mean? And you don't remember your past lives usually. I know some people do, but past lives, parallel lives, what have you, right? So I guess back to the Course in Miracles. So A Course in Miracles was a book that was, I think, dictated. It was given, you could say channeled. This total atheist professor at, I think, Columbia University. She worked in the psychology department. Okay. She starts hearing a voice who's dictating, and then that voice starts dictating this book. And then her colleague or boss or somebody at the college in that department takes it down, right? And so this is like a joint effort from them, through them. And the being who is providing the information, who is giving the information, is supposed to be Jesus or Yeshua. I like use both. And I mean, can you imagine like a freaking professor at Columbia, you know what I mean? And she was, Buddha Betty mentioned that she was a secular Jewish person. This is like not even, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't like sitting around thinking about Jesus all day. So, and yet here is this incredible book, and it is really out of this world. I am loving it. It is life-giving. It is transformative. It is just pure love in a book. And so, well, okay, so I guess I'll end this with a little bit of, obviously I highly recommend it. I think it's fantastic, and I encourage anyone and everyone to check it out. So this isn't coming from someone who is super religious or anything myself. I was very religious growing up, and then I was very not. You could even say anti all religion, right? Nothing, no organized religion. And as for Jesus, Yeshua himself, I was a Jehovah's Witness, and so in that religion, Jesus is super important, but Jehovah is more important because he's like the father, right? Okay, so, and then I left, right? I left, and then I don't know that I would use the word, what do I mean, I guess I was an atheist. I feel like that itself is kind of a religion though. And, you know, it's like you have this like, I don't know, conviction that they're absolutely, to me it was just like maybe I was agnostic. I don't know, you know. And then later I like doubted whether Jesus even existed. Like, was he even real? You know what I mean? And then, let's see. Well, when I began to awaken, and so like a year after, maybe a year and a half after the worldwide, you know, lockstep stuff, I was really just completely beside myself, discovering what I discovered, because I was just completely clueless before. And then all of a sudden I realized that there were all these crimes taking place. And so I was like very, 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 very beside myself. And the only thing that helped me one other thing helped me. So Sadhguru had this, what does he call it? Isha Kriya. And you say, I am not the body, I am not even the mind, right? And I had, I think recently learned that, and I just loved it, you know, just so fantastic. I mean, this is stuff that this is our birthright, you know, to have access to these kinds of practices and insights. But anyway, so like in the middle of the night when I was just shaking, just awake and shaking, you know, in my bed. As I like processed what I had researched or whatever, I would say, I am not the body, I am not even the mind. And that got me through it. But as far as like any kind of understanding or comfort or making sense of things, the only thing that I could ever find, you know, because we have lots of people here, famous people, books, leaders, whatever, you know, I was like, has anyone ever, just words of wisdom, I need something. Has anyone said anything that is relevant right now in this complete and utter nightmare? And all I could think of was Jesus saying in the Bible, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And it was the only thing that could comfort me or keep me sane. And And I knew he was important enough even to try to find. So when my children were little, I didn't, believe in Jesus. I didn't know if I wasn't like 100% positive he existed or, whatever. But I knew that he mattered, and that, the beautiful parables he told. And, well, let's see there. No, I think, okay, obviously at that point, I did believe he existed. He had existed. Okay, so anyways. And I wanted to teach my children about him, but I didn't want anything with dogma or anything that came from just dogma, right? And so I found this book. It was like a secular book, like a little small children's secular book about Jesus. And my experience reading that was that it was well-intentioned, a little boring, and absolutely the opposite of wonderful. It was just like, it was not nourishing. It was not edifying. It was not educational. It was like just really such a big disappointment, because it basically said, he was a teacher and he was a nice guy. And I'm like, okay, then why are we reading about him then? Like, why does he matter if he was just this nice teacher? Like, what are you talking about? And so I thought, all right. Even if it's dogma, it's better to show them, Bible stories and illustrations and whatever that don't give this like parched, dehydrated, miserable, shriveled, story of Jesus. I was like, dude. So, yeah, anyway, so suffice it to say, now, he is the most important thing in my life. And who'd have thunk it that I would be saying something like that? And so I want, what I want more than anything is to be a follower of Jesus. So, okay, I wouldn't like just say that to people though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like in conversation or something, because people have like preconceived notions about, well, what does that mean? Who Jesus is, or, what Christianity is. So for me, I would never use those terms. I'm not comfortable with them. I think all the religions have been completely corrupted and compromised, so and manipulated. But I am a follower of Jesus, not a follower of any religion. But more than anything, I want to follow him. So, And so that's how I felt. And then A Course in Miracles, this book has come back into my life, and it is truly marvelous, and it is such an adventure to read it. And it comes with like, it's all in the same like book. There's like the course, and then there's like a workbook, and then there's a teacher something or other, but it's just all together. I mean, if you want to, I think you could buy it separately, but you don't have to. And it's just really, 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 it's something. So I love the Bible too. Well, okay, am I being like totally... I love parts of the Bible. Maybe not the parts where, oh my God, this was just so horrifying. Like, I was a complete adult reading this, right? It's just so different reading the Bible when you're little than when you're an adult, So like a few years ago, I'm trying to read the Bible. Let's see. This was before everything. So when I'm still like completely like, no God, no spirituality. I mean, I wanted that stuff out of my life. I threw out the baby with the bathwater completely, right? But I know the Bible is important. It matters. It's valuable. It's beautiful. And if you want to be able to have any kind of understanding of any English literature, you've got to know the freaking Bible. So anyway, I was reading the Bible and I was like, what is this? Like, really? There was like a giant village of people, and God told you to tell them that all the men had to be circumcised. And then the next day or whatever, when they're all in pain, you like went in and murdered them. And you did this because God said so. And I'm just reading this. I'm like, oh, I don't remember this being in the Bible. Like, what the frigadig is this? Like, dude, So like, maybe I don't love those parts. Oh my God. But anyways, so, what else? I guess that's it. Yeah. Just, A Course in Miracles is super wonderful. And even when I don't understand exactly what it's saying, I still love it. I still, am reading it. It is absolutely divine. So, thanks for letting me share.